Hello, everyone, and welcome to the top 10 lessons that I learned through interviewing near-death experiencers over the last year. So it hasn't actually been quite a year. However, I have learned so much and I want to come here and share it with you today. So I'm going to make it a real fun day because tomorrow's Valentine's Day. That's why I wore my pink and excellent. Good to see you, and you can ask questions and be interactive, and please feel free to ask any questions and to chime in today, because today we're going to be talking about the NDEs that I interviewed, and I couldn't fit them all in because we'd be here all day. But if you check the show notes of this, please hit like too while you're there. You can see I've placed a link conveniently to each and every NDE that I'm talking about today. So if you find one of them interesting, you can just easily go there at your convenience and click on that NDE and watch it. But first this. So let's see if you guys can all see me and hear me. I want to go check the chat area here. All right, so let's see the chat. Ooh, all right. No, I don't want to see myself. I just want to see the chat. You're going to hear me in a second. Okay, cool. Well, hi to you all. I'll get to the chat in a second, but because so what I use this program called Ecamm Live, in case you guys are wondering, and I broadcast it. And I wanted to have these hearts on here and everything. And sometimes I lose where the comments are. Let's see. I'll find it in a moment, so I'll be able to read what you guys are saying. But in the meantime, here we go. Let me show you. Happy Valentine's Day, number 1. There's a gift for you also. I'm going to run the Abundance Challenge starting Valentine's Day tomorrow. We go live in Zoom to kick it off. If you can't make the live session, that's okay. But we're going to go live in Zoom, and we're going to, I don't know if you've done the Abundance Challenge, but it's 7 days of fun, intense discovery, and you're going to be blown away with you're going to find out what's standing between you and receiving so much abundance in your life. And there's a secret part to it where you're going to discover where abundance comes from. I'll give you a hint. It has to do with energy and you. Okay, and then next, so we talked about that. Each NDE, I feel, brings a gift to us. So as you can see, there have been many people who have died or come very near, close to death, and then come back. And what happens is I feel like there's a broad spectrum of people that's happened to, and they share their experience with us. Why? Because we can grow. It stimulates faith. It stimulates hope. It makes us feel like there is something after death, which I feel that a lot of us, knowing that, makes us less fearful, more joyful, and we can enjoy this experience. Okay, and then so some people say, well, why did you have a choice to come back, so on and so forth. Here's the thing. If your job is not done, your mission is not complete. You have the opportunity to come back to Earth to complete your mission. Makes absolute sense. And I know that a lot of my NDErs, before we get into each and every one of them and what I love the most about that NDE, before we go there, these individuals are very fortunate that they've experienced that, but at the same time, they go through a lot of introspection. Each and every one of them that I have interviewed has changed completely. Let's see if I can get to the chat. Oh my gosh, I got here. Yay. Now I'm seeing it. We've got, let me start from the top. Shelly G, hello. Shelly G is the monitor in the house. Yvonne Cano, hello. And then we've got Karen Moore, North Songs, Jim. We've got Brian, H505, Carrie Thompson's here, Mercer's here, Chris B's here. Yay. Happy Valentine's Day, everyone. Karen, and then Shay is here too. You made it all the way from Pakistan. Thank you. And Mary, Maria, NG, Perang. Okay, and Holly. Hey, Holly K, I have a special shout out for you and your husband. Thanks so much for being here today. Okay, so we've got through half of the preliminary stuff. So question, I have 3 questions. As you can see, I have an itinerary of what we're going to do today. And I have 3 questions to answer. A, Are we being tested on earth, and do we need to be tested? Yes and no. Yes and no. So we come on earth to have a mission. And usually the mission is half known and half not known. So let me give you an example. If you, within your spirit and soul, you have a high level of selfishness, for example, your vibration will attract you to a scenario and group of people and friends that will help you sort through that. So as you come down, you may or may not know that that is your issue. And that's why sometimes we feel discombobulated or treated unfairly, and we don't understand why the things are happening to us, but they're happening for us, not to us. So we are learning things while we're here for our own benefit. This whole life experience is for our own benefit. It is not meant to, take you off course tremendously. It's not meant to cause you pain, unless, of course, it requires that much for you. We are really powerful, and we do have the ability to change the course of events if we choose to open our hearts, learn the lesson quickly, move on, and come here and do what we really came here to do. Not just to learn lessons, but also to share, care, love each other, enjoy our friends, the earth, the animals, our relatives. It's our opportunity. And I'm just going to mention this here. I'm going to talk about this next Saturday, but I really want to share, oh no, my ring light went on. This is really bizarre. My ring light just went down. Must be important. I broke the light. Okay, so I guess we're doing this in the dark. It'll contribute to the mood as we move on to the NDEs, the NDE mood. Okay. So where was I? Oh yes, connected and together. 7 to 8 billion people. Please let me know in the chat. Is it 7 billion or 8 billion people on Earth? And I want you all to sort of, you can ask here, Eviatar. I want you all to grasp how many people there are on Earth. 7 billion, 8 billion. All those people, 7.7 billion. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for finding that information out right away. 7.7. I always love it when there's double digits. 7.7 billion people here on Earth, and we can all tap into the love, the talents. Imagine if we all had each other's back. Imagine if instead of worrying about all the things we worry about and dividing ourselves, what if we all helped? There would be no loneliness, because you couldn't be lonely because there's so many people. What if we focus solely, since it's Valentine's Day, we could talk about love and hearts. What if we all focused on tapping into our hearts, opening it up, trusting people, loving people, caring about people, every single one of us. Now, I understand that's a bit Pollyanna, because there are people that don't have our best interests in mind. But you know what I find is that the very small segment of people who don't have our best interest in mind are making us so that we don't have our best experience, our best life. Because out of 7.7 billion people, imagine, what we could do with that. Holly K says, I don't believe God wastes pain. It helps us overcome inertia. Yes. Yes, Holly, it does. Is it necessary? Is it required? It just depends on how, I suppose, receptive you are to love, compassion, peace, giving, selflessness, understanding, all of those words that are used. Okay, I know I'm not going to be able to fix my ring light, so it's going to be a darker mood show today, but let's get to it. Next question, final question. I think there's 2 of them here. Have I had an NDE? A lot of people say, where's your NDE story? And since we're talking about so many NDEs today, I want to share with you that I was very attracted to watching NDEs. I even became an NDE, near-death experiencer interviewer, because I just absolutely love the light that is shed into areas of understanding and wisdom. And I'm going to share with you what each one brought to me, and then you can watch it for yourself and decide that for yourself. Okay, so no, I have not had an NDE, but what I do have is something that the NDErs made me feel more comfortable with. So I have dreams and visions. And in my dreams, they are very clear. They're not lucid dreams. They're not regular dreams. And truth be told, I never ever say this, but I'm going to say it right now. Sometimes I do get a little bit annoyed when someone will say, oh, you had a lucid dream, or that was a dream. Absolutely not. I mean, it is clear as day. I remember it, even the ones that happened 40 years ago, detail, minute by minute. The fine, it's like it's in super HD. Lessons I've learned, guides I've spoke to, angels I've met, and even more recently, I had the biggest, best, I mean, I can't compare these dreams because they're all transformative, but the one I had of Jesus, wow. Just wow. I mean, changed my life. And that's what NDEs do. NDEs pour into you a vibration and a wisdom that is there and accessible to you, to me, to all of us. It just depends on, for example, with the NDE, typically that's something that's happened beyond the person's control. But is it? Is it really beyond the person's control? Was it written in the plan? Was it a divine interception? Who knows, right? We'll never know that until the future. Let's read a few comments before we move on to the next. Okay, good. Yes, loving the comments, you guys. Yvonne, Karen, Jim, Chris B. Yvonne, you're 100% right. What did Yvonne say? Now you guys get me all tripped up in the comments. Okay, so I don't want to dismiss my dreams because I feel that they're a gift to me, and I feel this lesson on Earth. My birthday is on June 22nd, and people who are in the know of numerology, of which I'm not, I only know very little, they say that that is a master number, and along with that master number comes a master lesson. And boy, oh boy, did I ever get it. So I guess I had to learn some things to master, and that's what I came here to do. And, half of a century later, I'm finally getting it. It took me a while, but I'm finally getting it. Okay, so I want to talk about one more thing before we get into reviewing the NDEs, and that is, what is this work people are talking about? So my father, in one of the dreams I had of him after he died, he said, I wish you'd stop crying so that I could go to my work. I have a lot of work to do because every time you cry, I have to come here and console you. And he said, I want you to know you're crying for your own loss. And it took me a while to wrap my head around, but I get it now. I respect my dad, and I know he had to work, so good for him. What is this work that they're doing? So it is possible, my friends, that you're here living and that the next second, when you blink your eye, you're somewhere else. And when you're somewhere else, it may not be very different than right here. So if I were to go to Italy, for example, tomorrow, I have a completely different surrounding, but I'm still the same person and I'm going through it. Yes, it's true, we lose our physical body. However, what makes up a physical body? It's your energy. It's your energy that animates your physical body. It's your energy. What? I got a super chat. Thank you so much, Shelly G. Whoa, that was really nice of you. So in case you don't know what a super chat is, that is a way of saying thank you, and I really do appreciate it. And they've been helping along the way. I had to get a new microphone. Hopefully it's working, because my other one, just after getting it, didn't work. Anyways, moving on. So, you have to do work and live in the next realm too. This is why it's important to get it right here, right now. Okay, so I'm just going to, let's see if this works where I pause it, because I have to cough for a second. Did it work when I paused it? I hope so, because that was a big cough. Okay, it's really important to get it right on Earth not because, this is my belief system now, not because you're either going to go to heaven or hell. No. It's because this experience never ends. And if you want to have the best experience, the most fulfilled experience, the most joyful experience, you will come to terms with the fact that A, we're eternal. B, this is an experience. I'll give you a great example. I had somebody contact me and they were very upset because a friend of theirs was going to pass away. And I did something that I've never done before. I looked up, thank you, Shelley. I looked up the stats. What? Wait a minute. Shelley, are you sure you wanted to give that? That is a lot, Shelley G. I'm sorry. I just got a little shocked here because I moved the chat and it wasn't $19.99. That was a lot. Thank you so much. Okay. So, yeah. That kind of threw me off for a second. Okay, so now coming back to that, what I was talking about. Whew, I got a bit emotional there for a second. We are not going to die. We're just going to move forward. And the sooner we get it, the better it is. Oh yes, I was talking about the person who said that their friend was going to die. So I did something different. What I did was I looked up the stats about how many people die. And there's hundreds of thousands of people who die every day. That's hundreds of thousands of people's families that are sad every day. That's hundreds of thousands of people who feel wronged because this happened. And of course, I too would feel exactly the same. I'm not trying to say I'm above feeling sad about it, but I think collectively, if we understood that dying is a part of this experience, we would love each other more. We would understand that we have a limited window in terms of how much we can love people and how much good we could do. I bet you we'd do a lot more hugging, more caring, more loving, more kind acts if we all could keep that into perspective, that this experience is going to end. We are not dying. The experience is going to end. So, how are you going to show up for this experience? Who are you going to love for this experience? How are you going to walk away from this experience? And when you go to see the angels, guides, God, Jesus, whoever it is that you believe, and you're going to learn this from this conversation, what are you going to say? I came to earth, I did this, I did that. And that, yeah, love is all that matters, Yvonne, for sure. Now, being creative, being generous, being helpful, being kind, doing all those things, what you're doing is you're creating, get this, hold your seats, heaven on earth. So you're actually manipulating the dimension of existence to create heaven on earth. And that is the goal. That is the goal for all of us, to, instead of 7.7 billion people working apart from one another, we should be working together. Could you imagine if you needed something and you can call on 7.7 billion people, their talents, their love, their time? Could you imagine that? And instead, for some reason, we forgot. We forgot that we have access to all this. And we didn't even talk about the animals yet. We didn't even talk about nature yet. We didn't even talk about any of that. So what I'd like to do, now that I'm going to move on into the near-death experiences, I would like to impart with you that heaven on earth can happen as soon as we connect with one another and actually have our backs for each other. Imagine, would you ever feel loss or that you needed something or someone? It's only when we isolate our love to a very select few people that we feel lonely, we feel lost, we feel unable, and we feel not capable. If you want to learn anything, do anything, have anything, imagine if you can access 7.7 billion friends. And what if you actually called everybody your family? Mind blown, boom, right? Mind blown. Yes, mind blown. Okay, let's get to this. So I've listed all the NDEs that I interviewed, and I want to give you the takeaway from it. The very top one is my good friend, Tricia Barker. So Tricia Barker has a special place in my heart. because she's the one who encouraged me to start my channel. She's the one who invited me to the Near-Death Experience Summit, the annual one, to talk about my dreams. She believed in my dreams. She understood that what I was experiencing in my dreams, that level of, and I don't want to apply wisdom to me because the wisdom was given. Okay, she understood that, and she said, Silvia, you got to come on. I know that, you've talked to your angels and you have the book about downloads from heaven on, but I want you to come on. So thank you, Tricia. However, prior to meeting Tricia, I watched her NDE, and here's what astonished me. Here is what astonished me. She talked about being on an operating table and levitating above and watching the surgeon. And she said an angel came to her beside her and said, watch what we can do for you. And said it almost like, hey, check this out kind of thing. And the angel held its hands, and the energy went through the hands into her surgeon, through her surgeon's hands, and into her back. Wow. Wow, that we have not only 7.7 billion people on Earth, but okay, hang on a second. You have a universe full of spirits, angels, guides, good souls that want to help you. Not to even mention Jesus and God and all the saints. And there's so many beings that want to help you. And that's what really impressed me with Tricia. And there's her book. Yes, thank you, Shelley G. That's her book right there, and it's called Angels in the OR. So if you want to get it, if you want to watch the NDE, I've put the link there. It was one of my first ones, so I wasn't that great. She was great. My interviewing was like, I don't know, I think I was smiling the entire time of nervousness. So the second one was David Ditchfield. So David Ditchfield, and by the way, if you have any questions, go ahead and ask me about these people, about what interactions we had before or after. You go ahead and I'll answer them. Now, David Ditchfield has the warmest heart. The vibration of his love comes through his voice. I just loved listening to his voice because I could feel love in his voice. And something that came through him, hello Israel, what came through him is a couple things. A, he actually was able to write and play orchestral music after his NDE, and he also was able to paint fabulously. And he couldn't paint before, and now suddenly he is a complete artist. And the most fascinating, that's fascinating in itself, but the most fascinating thing about David Ditchfield, apart from his authenticity, and he also has a book, is that he describes being on a stone slab and being healed by these healers. He doesn't call them angels, I don't think. He just calls them beings. So he's healed because he got hurt. He got pulled under a train and they were healing him. So his body is on earth. They're healing. Do you see that connection between your ethereal body of being and your energy and the physical body? So the physical body is a manifestation of your ethereal body, which is up there. Okay, so, but the most amazing thing about David Ditchfield was the fact that he saw a cascade of stars. So they were cascading in the universe. Could you imagine stepping out of this body, levitating into different dimensions, having people heal you, feeling whole and rested, and then observing a cascade of stars? Boom. I mean, mind blown. And they always say they feel this intense love. And that's because, those 7.7 billion people, we could experience that intense love right here on earth if we opened our hearts and spread that energy and just loved, just poured it out. But in the universe, it is being poured out. So as soon as we leave this body, we're like, whoa, there's a lot of love here. So what do you suspect our lesson on earth is? You tell me in the chat. Okay, next, Ingrid Honcolas NDE. So, first of all, the thing that stands out the most, Ingrid is such a sweet woman, and I enjoyed her energy. It's very lovely energy, and she's a very helpful person. But the thing that really resonated with me, interestingly enough, was the connection, the telepathic connection that she had with her mother as she was a child. And her mother was at the bus stop waiting to go to work when she had drowned in the laundry basin outside. And so her mother turned around, ran home to save her daughter. And there was a babysitter at the house, and the babysitter hadn't noticed that this had happened. And that telepathic bond. And I remember so many times with my son or daughter, I'll be like thinking of them, and right that second they walk in the door, right that second they message me, right that there's a strong telepathic bond with those we love. And in this particular case, it was between her and her mother. That to me is it gives me goosebumps because we are all so connected. And, we just got to admit it, lay down our arms, and continue to be connected with one another and focus on feeling. A lot of people say, Silvia, I would like to be able to do this. It requires that you let go of your fear and your doubts and open up to an energy, a telepathy of love and communication with your brothers and sisters. Thank you very much, Karen. Whoa. Thank you, Karen. And Shelley G, that's very generous of you. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining in on the love. Shelley G says, Ingrid Honcolas' book is a brightly guided life. And Daryl Cerquera, I think it's pronounced, I have bond with my mom, that kind of telepathic bond. Yes. 55 DB AU says Lessons on Earth is here to heal our karmic debt. Yes. Okay. I'm not going to deny that. But what if today we all decided that we don't want debt, that we all want to just even it out and love each other? And who cares about what happened before? Lay down your arms, put up your love, start interacting on that level. It's possible. We're not stuck in karmic debt. We're not. It's there for us to learn. It's not like, you're bad, you have to have. No, it's that we all want to go to the same place, and that is love. In order to do it, some of us have to purify more. When I say purify, I mean these lessons, put you through it, right? So you're purifying. Jeffrey Taylor, the lesson is that it's all about love and forgiveness. That's coming up, big part of it. Yes, Yvonne. Okay, so let's move on. Jeff Olson. Yeah. First of all, wonderful man. Beautiful man. I even want to cry right when I'm just saying this. The guy had to experience some of the hardest lessons on earth. He had a car accident where he had accidentally dozed off and lost his son, his wife. He had to witness it. He lost his leg. He lost everything. One son was remaining, and I won't spoil the story for you, but can you imagine the level of forgiveness that you have to learn in that split moment and for your entire life? And now he has a wonderful new wife after many, many years, and his heart is healing, and he's become, I believe he's becoming a shaman right now, which is amazing. Yeah, can you imagine the level of self-forgiveness that you have to have for being a part of that scenario? And you have to overcome the physical loss of, I believe, part of one arm and a leg, and you have to lose your wife, and you have to lose your newborn child. I mean, so much depth of loss, potential to break any spirit and soul, and this man rose above it like the phoenix and came again. And now he isn't wasting any of his time. All he does is share his message, and he's constantly doing good things. He works, I believe, at a network as well, and he's just doing such a great job. And they adopted him, and his new wife adopted 2 young men they have now. Watch the story. You're going to love that. But talk about needing to overcome pain and forgiveness, self-forgiveness. Okay, let's talk about Leo Murphy. You know what's interesting to me is a lot of people think that because I'm listening to someone and I'm agreeing and I'm doing this thing, that I have the exact same feelings as that person. Now, I am an empath and I empathize with these people because they're feeling it. But understand, each unique individual is going to have an NDE based on reality plus their belief systems. And in this case, Leo went to visit hell. He didn't go to hell. He was just on the perimeter of hell and he visited it. Now, that is, first of all, Leo is so he's so sweet. And he never told his story to anyone. And then when he made the commitment to tell the story to me, we had to reschedule 3 times because he wasn't certain that he wanted to share this. And he finally did. And I'm so happy he did because he really touched a lot of lives. But Leo Murphy, he doesn't have a book yet or anything. This guy's like, he's like the real deal McCoy. He's from Boston, I believe, and he grew up as a Catholic. So I kind of know about Catholicism because in my background, I was born Roman Catholic. Now, I don't know too much about religion, so please don't identify me with any religion because even though I think religion is fabulous, it works for people at the place and space that they need that help. But to access God, it's just you and God. I want to say man. It's just you and God, man. It's just between you and God. There's nobody who needs to intercede. Maybe Jesus can, but it's just between God is available and accessible to everyone. Okay, so Leo Murphy, so he went there and his experience was based on his personal life. So when you pass away, viewer, your outlook, your belief system, is going to influence what you experience. Now, there are some things that are set, like you're going to have family that comes to visit you, relatives that you believe. But however, like the way that you see God and the way, like I believe in Jesus kind of thing, and whatever you believe in, not kind of thing, I absolutely do, but whatever you believe in is what will appear. So let's just say, for example, I believed in a particular saint. And I prayed a lot to that saint, and I feel that I resonated and connected with that saint. I might meet that saint. Do you see what I'm saying? Like this life is unfolding based on your internal vibration, desires, and actualization. Nothing is happening randomly. I want you to feel empowered. By the way, that's partly why I developed this abundance challenge. It's a way to see that you are empowered and that you are instrumental in the unfolding events of your life and that you're not at the mercy without any power. I want to show that to you. I feel like it's a mission of mine to show you how empowered and fortunate and lovely and wonderful and everything that you are. All right. So, okay. Next person here, Ashley Marks. Love her. She had so much courage. She's an elementary school teacher. I don't know if you know this, but for her, and a Christian, and boy, did I ever get, I got a lot of positive comments. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong, there was tons. And you guys, I love you. I love you for being so positive. But she really did get some negative comments because she stood up for being a Christian for herself because that's what she believes in. And then people said, you're not a real Christian because you believe in reincarnation. You're not a real Christian because this and that. And it hurt my feelings a little bit for her because she was so brave and delicate to come out with her story. And then she got it for telling her story. So she's an elementary school teacher. She had this near-death experience. You can watch the show, but boy, did she ever transform. And let's see what I wrote down about her. She was the one who was emphatic about there being a library of your life in heaven. I guess some people call them the Acacia Records. Then she really talked about this library, and I loved it when she talked about the table. A lot of NDErs, even Karen Thomas talked about this, where there's sort of have you ever heard of the surface tables that are out and they're computer-like? Thank you so much, Lily Jane. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. So have you ever heard of those Surface tables where on there you watch your life review? And she said she could go back and forth on her life review. And I was like, whoa, like talk about ultra technology. I am looking forward to my time. When my time is done here and I'm going to a different dimension, I am looking forward to that level of technology, the level of freedom, the level of expansion. I have no desire to leave before my time. I just want everyone to know. And a lot of people say, oh, I don't like my life, blah, blah, blah. Look, you're where you're supposed to be, everyone. Just enjoy the ride and just be the best person. When you find yourself in circumstances, where you feel it's a lemon, make lemonade. I mean, I think if I'm an expert at anything, it's making lemonade. Okay, so Ashley's experience, she really came out and she brought it to us. Helping us believe that there's a place where all of our records are, that we are in perfect order, that there's a hierarchy of angels and God's helpers that are there and ready for us and keeping it all organized. Okay, and next, Peter Panagorp. So Peter Panagorp was one of my first interviews as well, and I had a lot of fun during this one. Like, I was really trying to be an interviewer in this. I thought, oh, I'm gonna try to develop some skills. So I ended up probably interrupting too much, but he was so wonderful. And the thing about Peter Panagorp is he has become the message. He took his message and he made it his life work. I love that he loves squirrels and nature, and I've had fun conversations with him. He's such a pleasant guy, and he's done so many things. He's very talented. But the thing that struck me about his NDE is he was scared. When he was dying, he was scared. He wasn't trying to say like, oh, I was fine and everything, but Peter Panagorp was afraid. But now, you know how I have this Saturday show? He has a Sunday show. And if you can wake up early enough, because he's on the East Coast and I'm on the West Coast, but if you can wake up early enough to watch his show, and if you're into that, he has a lot of great stuff to share with you. His message is wonderful. And he has a master's in divinity. So yeah, he's got a wealth of information about a lot of different cultural and religious backgrounds and all of what they did. So if you're interested in that, Peter Panagorp, watch his NDE with me and go check him out. But I feel his heart. Okay, Chris Batts. You guys, you probably don't know this, but I was on the verge of crying the entire time I was interviewing Chris Batts. His story, like I thought my story was, trying and sad, and his story even more so. There's nothing worse than being rejected by your own mother, and he experienced that in this lifetime. It was an experience that obviously he signed up for, and I don't want to say I signed up for it because I've gone to a different place now where I'm okay with it, but he wrote a book called Boom about his experience and that he attempted suicide, and that's when he found himself awakened. And it's kind of comedic the way he describes it. So he said there was one angel that was super buff beside him and then another angel, and he kept looking at the buff angel that had on like a lumberjack shirt. And you see, in his mind, he interpreted his experience with the layer of his own accumulated knowledge and wisdom, and he has transformed from night to day. Somebody who's experienced that kind of hardship in your deepest part of your heart, it's hard to trust. It's hard to come back. It's hard to just live your life and be happy, really, but his NDE changed him. When I say change, I mean absolutely, completely. This guy's got confidence. He's got purpose. He's a wonderful guy. He talks with confidence. He's very faithful in God, and anything he does, he's astute. I love what happened to him as a result of his NDE. I love that he wrote his book. He didn't let his circumstances change him. I mean, he just built a whole new self, and I absolutely love it. Thank you, VG, so much for the super chat. You guys are generous today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. It's coming at a great time. Thank you. All right. And all of you that are communicating, thank you. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, by the way, if you watch that video of me and Chris Batch, you're going to see it looks like I'm trying to interrupt, but in fact, I just want to cry the whole way through. I felt that man's pain. We've got somebody on the side where I think maybe I should answer two things here. First of all, Lily Jane. Money can be a sign of energy. Yes, and that's what I talk about in the Abundance Challenge. When you guys are letting it go, what's happening is you're opening up to the possibilities, all the possibilities for yourself. It is energy. And you know, the funny thing is that money on the other side it's not the same kind of currency, but there is a reason why people want money. It's a good reason why. The intention is a good intention, but it morphs into something. And I've grappled with that, and I've studied it, and I share it in my Abundance Challenge. So at the top, in the show notes, the information on this video, at the top and the bottom, I put a link. I would love to share that with you. It's too long to share here right now. I want to get through these NDEs, but I want to talk about money with you. It's very important. And yes, it's directly related to energy. And also, Eviator says, I don't feel in control at all of my life, so I really don't understand where you see everything happening and the order in the universe. Okay, I get you, but you're at a good place right now because you're questioning it. We have given away our power so much. We have procrastinated. We have given our power away. We have been kind of conditioned to remove our power. And I really would love to talk about that. And I think I'm going to have to hold that one. Shelly G, if you're here, could you send that? Because I know you are here. You're always here, sweet love. But could you write that down and send that to me? Because I do want to address that, okay? That's for a whole video. Okay, so now, Brooke Grove. Okay, Brooke Grove introduced me to some cool concept. She talks about rainbow children and how there's a whole generation of children with high psychic ability, and they're coming into this world to help transform and transmute and quicken the vibration so we can start loving ourselves and each other now. We need souls like that infuse our earth with, you could see a lot of people are wanting to save the planet, clean garbage off the beaches, help to recycle. There is a distinct, I can see it from my generation to this generation now, there's a distinct desire to clean up this earth and to help the earth and to start loving one another and to connect. And obviously there's opposite forces to that, but I like to focus on and grow and just up the good, positive energy. And she introduced us to the concept of rainbow children. She also talked about seeing her children before they were born, and they were in orbs, which was of an interest to myself and maybe to you too, because I saw both of my children before they came, and it was shown like on a video. It was in front of me. It wasn't on a surface table. And I saw my son in stages all the way up till he was 3. So this was like, to me, that was, I'm so grateful. Whoever is helping with the dreams and whatever instrumental part it is, I am so grateful. Grateful for you guys. Grateful for the dreams. It's so good to be here today. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way. Getting emotional. Okay, so then we have Ashley. Well, we talked about Ashley Marks here, so I'm sorry I had it twice. So Sharon's was a little different. It had to do with self-love. It had to do with honoring yourself, respecting that you are worth God's love, and absolutely not believing, and this is something I'm adamant about, somewhere down the line in some lifetime or place, I realized that it's very, very important to stand up for yourself and to not believe people who say negative things to you. Do not believe it. If somebody says something negative to you, like they did to Sharon, like they can do to us, do not believe it. You are perfect. God loves you. There's nothing that can change it. If for some reason this person says something about you, let me explain. Don't judge them. Don't think they're a bad person. But it's just like an orange. When you squeeze an orange, orange juice comes out. When you squeeze a lemon, lemon juice comes out. When you squeeze somebody who has a lot of pain and has been judged and feels judged and judged, that's what's coming out. So we need to change that person too, because to have 7.7 billion friends, we need to love everyone and start with yourself. Start knowing that you are excellent, lovable, filled with everything you need. If you don't have all the answers right now, it's okay. Trust in God. He does. Just if you want a question answered, ask God. God will answer it for you. I promise you that. It's important, however, to listen. You can't ask something. Something's coming to me. Something's moving my spirit. One of the things that I'm going to be doing with this abundance challenge, and by the way, I'm working on a program for after that abundance challenge, so don't be surprised when I invite you to the Mariposa program, but this is funny. So here's the universe, guys. I'm just taking a little break from this for a moment. So, I don't like myself. You don't like yourself. I have no money. You have no money. My life is out of control. Your life is out of control. The universe mirrors and mimics what you say and what you believe. What, Silvia? I thought the universe had my back. The universe does have your back. You just need to know how to be so that you can reflect that. See, the universe isn't trying to judge you and say, oh, well, don't think those thoughts, don't say those things, don't believe that. No, it just reflects, just like a loyal dog. It wants to reflect who you are. Therefore, if you say you are something and if you believe you are something, it just loyally reflects that back. But Silvia, I thought you said God existed and God had our back. Yes. However, you also have what's called free will in order to entertain, learn, grow, exist. After all, you're going to be here for an eternity, right? So you never die, just your body, your experience ends. So the universe, you got to learn how to work with the universe. You got to learn how to, it's like having a pen. A pen will go everywhere and you'll get ink anywhere. But once you learn the fine motor skills of living your life and mastering your life. Remember I told you, June 22nd, all about mastering, understanding that you are so powerful that what you think, believe, and say reflects back to you. Your vibration attracts or repels non-stop, guys and girls. Your vibration reflects and gives back exactly that. Let me explain. Let me explain just for a fun thing. So this is really silly. Please don't think that this is me. But if I said, oh gosh, there are no good men out there. FYI, I've been married for a long time, but there are no good men out there. I'm never going to have a relationship. I am terrible at relationships. I'm never going to have love. This isn't going to happen. What do you think is going to be reflected back to me? If I actually spoke to a potential person that was potentially interested in me, they're going to think this person doesn't believe in that, or and they feel kind of repelled by that. You're repelling exactly what you want, or they feel sorry for you. And you don't want to be in a lopsided feel sorry for relationship. You want to be in an empowered relationship where you know what's possible for you. Imagine it, feel it, know it, experience it. That's what's called faith. And my friend Jesus, whom I believe in, said, with your faith, you have been made whole. When he went to heal people, he always said, with your faith has made you whole. That's what I'm talking about. What you believe happens. That's the universe. Okay, so let's get to the next one. So, hey, if you want to change your life, change yourself. Change not what you're doing, but who you're being. Who you are being from the core. All right. Next one is, and by the way, Sharon's NDE, Sharon Milliam, I can never say that last name. We are still friends, and she is awesome, and you can watch her NDE there. She also has other NDEs online, the same NDE, but with other interviewers. Jim Bruton. So Jim Bruton has also become a friend. He just recently got back from Mexico. He started his channel, and he took my YouTube course It's called YouTube for Influencers, and he took it and he started his channel. I encourage you that if you're the kind of person that likes to, like, he's not religious, so he doesn't have that slant on it, but he knows he had an NDE, and he talks about things in a very different way. It's I want to say the word pragmatic, but I don't know if that describes it. He had a very different NDE than most people did, and he's very articulate. He used to work for National Geographic. He had a well-established career, and now he's moving into the arena of, he's also has a book. He's moving, yeah, he got his book is The In Between. That's it. Thank you, Shelley. And if you're that kind of person where you want to quantify things and you want to go far out there, he's your guy. And he's also a super sweet person, like nice person, but he's not coming from it from an angle. He comes about the oneness of the universe versus any particular religion. Okay, so now let's go to Karen Thomas. So I just recently did the interview with Karen Thomas, and the thing that really made me laugh is that she is religious. And when she got to the other side, she's like, she meets this guy in sandals, and she's like, "You're not Jesus." It was so funny because she's like, "No, this guy, like, come on, where's Jesus? Not you, Jesus." And this guy went and took her also to that library of books, and she found herself in a rocky, dry place, which turns out was one of her past experiences, and she's like, "This is not heaven." So she had a very clear expectation, like, if I'm dead, I need to go to heaven and I need to meet Jesus. But instead she met this other sandaled guy. And anyhow, her near-death experience is very deep, very touching, very wonderful. But I found that particular part really funny because she she just had an expectation. So you see, things aren't always what they seem. Things aren't always what they seem. Be open, feel confident, feel powerful. Don't feel powerless. Embrace your power and just know that you are loved. I mean, literally, sometimes I have to stop and think for a second. We're here with 7.7 billion people. Someone can't hug us. Someone can't empower us. Yes, they can. That's what we're here for. How did we forget? I don't know. Next, so watch Karen Thomas's. It's pretty good. I want to say it's really good. And it's actually the number 2 video of all the videos I ever did. The next one is Jake Cooper. What struck me with Jake Cooper is that he was like a child when he had his, like really young, like I think 3. And sure enough, some people disputed it. How do you remember when you're 3? Understand, during my dreams and during his near-death experience, we are connecting on a outside of your body consciousness, an intelligence, a wisdom on an outside of your body. So he didn't communicate as a 3-year-old child who had anaphylactic shock from a peanut. He was communicating from his spirit, where all things are known and where you are instantly an adult. As a matter of fact, from what I've experienced, typically we're like 35 there. Now there may be some cases where there are children that need to grow up and develop, and that's not what we're talking about today, but generally speaking, when we leave our body, we go to a higher level of intelligence, consciousness, awareness. And I say intelligence because intelligence implies that you have the information you need to be able to understand and make decisions. Yeah, so that was cool. He did get challenged a lot for saying that, and I was surprised that he also, very gentle spirit. So he works, I believe he's a coach and counselor now, and his father is a therapist, and he's working his way to doing it. So how wonderful would it be to have a therapist that actually had that background of understanding of having had an NDE. His office was, we were twinning. He had all the same items, and oh yes, we have the connection of Sedona. He absolutely loves Sedona. So yeah, I like that guy. He's good. Jake Cooper, he has a book out, Life After Breath. Thank you, Shelley G. I'm going to read comments shortly, so please feel free to write your comments. Next is Renu Aurora. Sweet woman. So Renu was pulled under a bus similar to David Ditchfield, but David Ditchfield's was a train, a commuter train, and Renu was a bus. And she left her body and absolutely went outside of her body. And the most astonishing thing happened, that her heart was taken out, polished, clean. That has so much spiritual significance, because your heart is your energy creator in your body. It creates your magnetic field. It runs your electrical circuit. It's connected to God. It's connected to good. It's where you feel things. It's where you know things. It's where your intuition lives. Your heart is, happy Valentine's Day. Your heart is such a special place. And for her to be able to have her heart taken out, polished, she changed. She said she used to worry about superficial things all the time. She no longer worries about superficial things. She is a blessed and peaceful, lovely woman. As soon as you start talking to her, you will hear it in the vibration of their voices. You can recognize God in the vibration. It feels so good and so loving. Yeah, lucky her, she had her heart polished. Thank you for the super chat, Norse Songs. Much appreciated. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Love your channel and your message. Thank you. Today's a fun day because we're reading off all of these near-death experiences. And the next one is Johnny. So Johnny Davis, this is the final one. So Johnny Davis is interesting because I saw him, thank you, Norse Song. It's still resonating with me. It's still reverberating in my heart, your generosity. Thanks. Happy Valentine's Day. So Johnny Davis, he was a different NDE, and I'll explain to you why. I saw him on this Fox Soul network. I don't know if it was the Fox network or it was just called that, but it looked like that. And I thought, I really want to invite him to a place, a community where we already believe in NDEs. By the way, Renu Aurora just launched a podcast called The Burgundy Book. Sorry, I'm jumping a bit, but back on task. So Johnny was on this interview. I saw him and I thought, I want to interview this guy. It was in his voice. It was there again. I don't know. I hear it. And I knew that he was a man filled with God and faith. And I don't mean religion. I mean God and faith. This man is good. He's a good man. So he comes on. However, I think he had told his story and maybe had met a lot of resistance. I think his book is called Heart of a Champion, I believe. Something to do with Heart of a Champion. And if you go to the link, you'll see that there's a link underneath that video to go to his book if you're interested. So, Heart of a Champion, he was an athlete. He had a heart failure. He said, it's not a heart attack, Silvia. He corrected it. It's a heart failure. His electrical current stopped at 30-something. And he was healthy and an athlete. And he died. And the most impressive thing that on my heart changed is that Sherry, and you need to come on the show, don't you? The most impressive thing, Sherry in the notes said she had an NDE in 1989. Why are you not on here? We're going to have to get you on next video. So I could tell that Johnny met a lot of resistance because when he came on the show, he was talking about how, I don't care if people believe me or not. I don't care if people, well, we believe him. The thing is, what did you experience? That's what I want to know. I'm not going to question that you had an NDE because it takes a lot of courage to go on YouTube and tell people that you died, what you experienced and came back. That takes a lot of courage. The next time you watch somebody do their NDE, whether it's on my channel or another one, understand these people are really putting themselves out there because there are plenty of people that will judge them, comment negatively. Holly K. Whoa, thank you for the super chat. You guys are on fire today. Thank you for the great Valentine's Day gift and commitment. So I could tell that, Johnny was new to telling his story. He also had a really cool part to him where he's a coach, like a self-help coach, and is in marketing and teaching people how they can live their best lives and doing that. So I am really impressed how these NDErs are selected for their ability and their leadership. So get this. A lot of people say, I wish I had the ability that Johnny has. Like when he left his body, he expanded. And he became the universe. People say, I wish I could have an experience like that. But you know what? The question is, how are you showing up in life? Are you willing? And I'm not saying you should have an NDE. No. I'm saying, are you willing? I can't believe the generosity today. I just want to take a moment and feel it in my heart. I love you all. And thank you. Okay. Are you willing to show up like a leader and to show up for God? Because these people are leaders when they show up and share their story, regardless of how long it was or how much of an experience or not, or what they saw or what they didn't see, or whether they had a life review or not. These are leaders who are courageous, and they're courageous for God. And therefore, if it is within your intention to manifest extraordinary abilities, then you need to step up and be an extraordinary human, extraordinary in faith, in showing up, in commitment, in confidence for God and for yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to believe in yourself. And no judgment, my good friends, but we can't be putting ourselves down and standing up for God, because God made us. We can't be confused when we know God is everything and clarity. We can't not love people when we know that was the only thing that Jesus came here to teach us. So if you want to be extraordinary and you want to have extraordinary experiences, become extraordinary. Open your heart, open your mind, trust, become powerful in God. Let God be your flame inside that drives your heart and your wisdom. And I know if you connect, but you're connected anyways, but I know if you open up enough to allow enough in, because you are connected, regardless of anything, you are connected to God. Open up and let God in. You can do it. You can do it. We can all do it. And, I want you to wish something together with me for Valentine's Day. This is what I want as a gift. Apart from all the generous super chats, I want you guys to imagine a world where 7.7 billion people have your back. I want you to at least imagine it, because in my dream I had of Jesus in Sedona, he lifted up a sign that said, imagine. I want you to imagine what is possible for you, for us, for this earth, and that heaven isn't somewhere else. Yes, there are other dimensions. Yes, there are beautiful things, beautiful colors we haven't seen. I'm not denying that. But I'm telling you right here, right now, we can make heaven, and I need you to imagine it so we can create the vibration and make this a joyous existence. And when someone leaves us, we'll meet them again. God is good, and everything is good. It's our way of interpreting what's happening to us. Some lessons are definitely hard, I know, and they really push us. We need to grow, we need to learn, and that's our work. When people say, what is your work? Most people say, I want to help other people. I want to help other people. And I'm telling you, friend, brother, and sister, the work is love yourself, become love, vibrate love, and shift the energy of the entire world and universe. Boom. That's it for the talk. It's closing down, wherever it came from. Now I'm going to answer some questions for fun, and then we're going to get going, because we're 3 minutes over the hour. Don't leave yet. Ask your questions. If you've been sitting on the sideline, you want to ask a question, you're afraid, you don't think your question's good enough, I want your question too. I want you to love yourself. I want to go over thanking everyone and letting them know. Okay, so the stronghold. I am in Switzerland. I look at your posts often. You do not realize the good that you do to us. Thank you. God. It's God that's good. I'm opening up my vessel for God to come through. That's the time it's good, is when God's coming through. Okay. Holly K, love you all. I love you, Holly. Thank you for the beautiful email from you and Kurt. I was going to mention you a shout out today. Lovely. I appreciate every single bit of everything you wrote. Thank you. And Karen Doyle, you are just participating. I can see your name coming up, and I really love that you're engaged in this conversation. Lily Jane. Lily, you have been, just giving, giving, giving. And I want you to know that when you do that, you encourage more confidence, more love. You help me show up stronger, because the faith that you have is like a candle, and it lights more fire. Thank you, Lily Jane. And Lily Jane says, I've never had an NDE, but for the people to step up and tell that we are all loved has been very life-changing for me too. For me too, Lily Jane. Yvonne, I have your back, guys. Yes, let's have each other's back in the chat, in this world, in this life. I want you to imagine it. I want you to feel it, live it, make it happen. That's how things come into reality. It's not happenstance. And when we sit back and procrastinate and think we're not players in the game just goes without us. And then it's a lousy game. We want a good game. And then we have Shao QI. Hello. Karen, still going. Jim. Craig says, an expression, God didn't make no junk. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If there's any riffraff in this universe, it's our decision to not take up our name. And, our name, behind our name is God's vibration. Behind our name is God's vibration. If you guys have any personal questions, you could ask. And then Jim says, is it over? You mean the NDEs? The NDEs are over. That running through. You can watch them if you want to. I put all the links there. All this morning I did that for you guys. I love you guys. Okay, me too, Brian. Hi. It was so beautiful. Silvia will help you. Okay, who am I helping, Shay? Does somebody need my help that I didn't notice? The chat goes by quite quickly for me. Please repeat if somebody needs help right now or has a question. We've got 2 more minutes left. So Maria says, from all over the world. Okay. Jim says, nothing is scrolling anymore. Okay. Well, I guess you know what time it is? It's time to go. Happy Valentine's Day. I'm going to be here tomorrow live talking about the Abundance Challenge. I'm going to come on for about 30 minutes tomorrow talking about it. We start tomorrow the Abundance Challenge. I'm extremely excited for that. If you haven't signed up, sign up. Just know this, that the Abundance Challenge leads to a new program that I've created called the Mariposa Transformational. Mariposa for butterfly. Boom, boom. Changing. Growing, expanding. Okay? Talk to you tomorrow. Love you guys all so much. Really means a lot. Thank you for all the super chats too. I want to make sure you know I appreciate it. So long.